I'm Dex Hamilton, 49 years old, uh, father of Devontae Hamilton, father of James Duplichan. I reside here in Kendall, Louisiana. I'm father of Delicia Hamilton, she's 16, husband to Arlesia Hamilton, and grandfather to Ryder James Mason Hamilton, who is 5. James Duplichan, it's amazing. I met James officially after his accident. He asked Devontae, my son, and he requested that to meet me and my wife. And we, of course, went to see him in St. Patrick's Hospital in Lake Charles, Louisiana, where he then began to apologize to me for something that happened a couple of years before that, when he and Devontae was both in high school, which honestly wasn't at all on my mind. I was just very honored that he had requested to see me and my wife because our small little town, we heard about his accident, and just have an opportunity to go and speak to him, encourage him, or even have an opportunity to pray for him was on my mind that day. But little beknownst to me, my wife and I was greeted by just a beautiful young man who had an experience on the river that day while he was fighting for his life and pretty much fighting to gain consciousness. And he just began to share with us that he asked me personally if I would be in his life and really walk with him through life and just be a mentor or someone that will walk with him and encourage him along the way. And I absolutely accepted. We quickly began to go over our lives and begin to share our lives, what we've been through, and we had a lot of similarities of growing up. I was raised by my grandfather. He was raised by his grandfather. That was the closest person to him. And pretty much when his grandfather had passed a couple years earlier, he felt a sense of aloneness and being abandoned, and so he got into some things in his life that that he necessarily wouldn't have with his grandfather here. However, I totally was able to relate to a lot of things he shared with me, and it was just really a blessing. It was truly a blessing to just have him reach out to me and wanted and desired that relationship with me, and we started. That was the beginning of it after his accident. It's now 4 years later, 4.5, going on 5 years later, and James and I are just. I mean, he's my son. He's not my son's friend. He's my son. We have a lot of late night conversations. James calls me 1, 2, 3 in the morning when he's battling depression, or when he's feeling like he doesn't want to live. He's feeling like he doesn't want to press beyond the torment of his mind because he's having to deal with the battle of he can no longer move like he once moved for 20 years. And I just feel like it's an eye-opening event or encounter to really try to reckon with the fact that what you was able to do for 20 years you can no longer do. And I'm heartbroken by his story every time he tells it. But more so than that, I'm there with him every step of the way, letting him know that his power truly resonates with his mind. He is super smart. He's very sharp. He has things he wants to do. He wants to go back to school. He wants to do things, and he has a short-term goal of getting the activity of one arm, and he has had success with that, with going to a state-funded facility that he made a lot of progress, but after 3 weeks, funding ended, and and he had to go back to a living facility. But we have hope. We started the GoFundMe campaign for him, and I absolutely believe and have faith that he will get that limb, he will get that arm, and from there it'll build. There we place no limitations on what he can do, because he is truly a hero to most of us. He inspires us more than us walking around with the activity of our limbs and inspire him. I believe that. And I just think he continues to amaze everyone around him every single day of his life. But also, the purpose of this documentary for myself is I've had the conversations, those intimate conversations with him that he talks about, and they became so frequent. I just propositioned him the opportunity to share with the world, share with other quadriplegics who are not strong enough to tackle those issues of neglect, of depression, anxiety. It's something that I think a lot of families really need, and I'm just super blessed to have him in my life and to be a part of this documentary, to share bits and pieces of what I've experienced with him over the last 5 years. So, this is Real Life with James Duplichan. I'm very excited about this mini doc, and I look forward to sharing it with the world. Thank you. So James, how you doing today, man?
I'm always good, man.
That's what's up, man. I really want to let you know I appreciate your time today. Allow me to come here and really spend a couple hours with you, catching up on life and whatnot. But I wanted to ask you a couple questions, if that's cool.
It's fine, mommy.
Okay. The first thing I want to know is, tell us about your life before your accident.
Well, I lived a relatively good life for the most part. I mean, there was a lot of bad things, but throughout all the bad things, I still managed to make some good times, met a lot of good people. Didn't grow up, with very much, but I had everything I needed. I was raised by my grandfather pretty much most of my life, and that's the person that taught me to become a man, taught me everything I know. He's the reason why I got the mindset that I got now.
Yeah.
Never really had much family other than him. I had lots of friends, or at least people that I thought was my friends, at the time. Not very many people that's ever come across me that don't remember who I am,
Yeah, that's what's up, man. Walk us through the day of your accident, man.
Alright, well, it was a regular summer day, canoeing. It's something that just about everybody from South Louisiana does, a time or two. All it costs is $20. You can rent a canoe for the day, spend the whole day on the river, barbecue a little bit, got a drink on the river and just floated.
Yeah.
Stopped off at the rope swing, jumped out of a couple of trees off into the river, jumped off of a couple of cliffs that I've jumped off of pretty much my whole life, They got a total of 3 rope swings on the canoe trail at the opening river. So I cleared me a little path in the woods at the top of that cliff. And the cliff was a good 25 foot, from the top of the cliff to the water,
Yeah.
So, I climbed up, got a little trail that, you can make your way to get to the top. And I cleared me a trail through the woods, a good 30, 40 yards, so I can get enough speed so that way whenever I hit the water, I'd be going fast enough to where I wouldn't have to hold my breath as long, and a better chance of getting to the bottom.
Yeah.
So got to the, cleared my little path, got running. I was running pretty much full speed by the time I hit the edge of the cliff to jump. And whenever I dove, instead of diving straight down, I dove at more of an angle.
Yeah.
And I missed a drop off, and it hit a wall of sand. And whenever I done that, I mean, they told me you heard my neck snap from 2 sandbars away. And I mean, at the time, I knew what had happened. You know, I knew that I had broke my neck. You know, I've been told my entire life, you know, quit cutting backflips, quit jumping off of shit, quit doing all this crazy nonsense, cause you're gonna break your neck. And I've told everybody, said man, I'm not gonna break my neck. Said man, I'm invincible. Said it's gonna take a whole lot more than that. Take me out. I tried to swim back up, and my body was just limp. And at this point, you know, I felt myself get, you know, I tried with everything I had to, you know, to come back about this water, but you know, my body was pretty much dead to me at this point, and I'm on the verge of not just drowning, but choking to death at the same time, and you know, I just felt myself getting pulled to the shore. After 20 years of walking and doing everything without even thinking about it, to trying with every fiber of my being just to lift my arm or to even open my mouth all the way and take a breath.
Saying that, what's your ultimate desire moving forward? Last question.
My ultimate desire moving forward, man, I just want to make a positive impact, man. I want to try to turn these people from accepting handouts. I mean, now if you're mentally incompetent, and I don't mean stupid or anything like that, but if your mind is just not there, then yes, you deserve assistance. But if you have a decent enough mind, then you can find a way to do something for other people.
Yes.
And I mean, my ultimate goal, man, is, I mean, personally, you know, I want not my name, my grandfather's name, who I'm named after, James Sherwin Duplessis, to live on in a positive way. And if my situation and my determination can put even one person on a better path in their life, then that'll make this entire situation worthwhile, man. That is my goal.